So first, my name, I'm Dr. Olivier Becherel. My title is Human Potential Activator, Life and Business Strategist. And that's really what I focus on, helping people activate their unique potential and design their life and business around themselves so they have more fulfillment, meaning, and purpose in life. And I'm also the co-founder of Mastery to Success with my wife, Marcia, which is our coaching and consulting company where we help professionals, business owners, and entrepreneurs create more fulfillment and success in their life. Now, you probably, if you know me, or you probably just picked it up, is I have an accent, and I'm not a native Australian, but I come from France. I was born in France, and I was born specifically in Normandy. And for those that know France, you will definitely know about the croissant and the beautiful things that they have there. Now, one thing you probably don't know about me is that from a very young age, I was really fascinated with the mysteries of life. I was looking for understanding whatever I can find around me and try to figure out how this works. So much so that when I was 8 years old, my parent bought me a microscope. So I can just, grab some dirt, put it on the microscope and have a look what it is. And so I was looking at bugs, I was looking at crawlies, I was looking at anything, plants. And so that's really started my passion about, studying the mysteries of life. And for me, when I was a kid, it was fascinating because I was able to see some things that most people never seen before, or maybe would never be able to see before in their life. And so that's really started my interest in understanding life and especially the micro element of life. And this led me to study biology at school and then go to university and undertake a PhD in molecular genetics and cell biology. So to do my studies, I moved to Strasbourg. So from Normandy to Strasbourg. And I started to do my research. And my topic of research was really understanding how simple cell organisms, such as bacteria, respond to environmental stress. Most of the time I were looking at response to chemicals or the response to UV light. And the main reason I wanted to do that is I want to understand how the cells protect their genome, their genetic blueprint, their DNA, but also how they develop mutation in order to adapt to a changing environment. And so that was the beginning of my scientific career in research, is studying how cells respond to environmental stress and adapt to environmental stress. Now, while I was in Strasbourg also, I met Marcia, which later became my wife, and we had a common passion about understanding life, cells, and the human body. And so we both end up doing medical research. So that's where we find ourselves. I didn't have to leave my life to meet my wife. I met my wife in my lab, which is quite very effective, let's say. And so in 2002, after I finished my study, PhD, a little bit of postdoc, we moved to Brisbane, Australia, completely on the other side of the world. And then again, I continued to do my medical research. So I worked at the Queensland Institute of Medical Research and the University of Queensland. And I work on neuroscience and cancer research. And my focus was to work on neurological disorder and trying to understand what is the mechanisms of disease. So I study genetics, I study epigenetics, I work with stem cells, did some stem cell research to really trying to understand what is the onset and what is the mechanism of disease at the cellular and molecular level in a range of neurodegenerative disorders. And so I did that for quite a number of years, about 20 years. And everything was working fine. Everything was going well. I was doing my research, getting some good results, making progress in my career, mentoring students from high school students to honor students and even PhD and helping them graduate. But gradually I realized that something was missing in my research. I felt a bit limited in my research and there was some kind of a disconnect. And so I feel more and more I was disconnecting from the drive I had to do my research. It was not as when I started before. And in 2007, there was a turning point for me. The turning point happened when I read a book that my wife bought. called The Universe in a Single Atom by the Dalai Lama. Now, I must say, this is the first spiritual type of book I ever read. Before that, spirituality was not on my radar. I never read anything spiritual, anything around personal development. Everything was purely around medical research, science. But in 2007, I just got curious with the title of the book, This Universe in a Single Atom. And I thought, oh, that might be interesting, how science and spirituality can serve our world. And so the funny thing is that I read that book in a weekend, and that changed completely my perception and my perspective on life. And this is also the book that catalyzed my personal development journey. And by reading that book, I understood what was missing in my life up to now. I was purely focused on the physical aspect of life, but I was missing the spiritual aspect, the metaphysical aspect. And so when I read the book and I finished that book, I realized that my purpose in life was to integrate science and spirituality, spirit and matter, and science, physics and metaphysics. And so I realized that my role in medical research was a bit limited, and I was just limiting myself to the possibility I could explore. So I started to do a lot of personal development. And in 2009, we published our first book with Marcia. Now, this is something I would never have thought I would have done as a scientist, because I can tell you this book is very left field. It's very much self-help. And so we published the first book together, and then I started to dive deeper into personal development, studied a lot about the mind, about neuroscience, a lot about neuro-linguistic programming. I got certification in neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, and coaching. And then we decided to launch our business, Mastery to Success, and we started to do coaching together. Another turning point in 2009 is I met one of my mentors, Dr. John DiMartini, and I discovered the universal laws, how they apply to every realms of existence, but most importantly, how they apply to human potential and human behavior. And this is a picture we took with John when we were in South Africa for his 60th birthday. We were attending in one of his advanced programs there, and we had the chance to be able there to celebrate his 60th birthday. And so diving into personal development, I realized that science, the way I was doing science in the academic realm, was not really what I was supposed to do or what I was meant to do with my life. And so I decided to take a leap and follow my calling, and I decided to quit academia and medical research. I left academia, I left security, I left this prestige, and I started out my entrepreneurial journey with Marcia, and we are a business Mastery to Success. And in the past 10 years or so, we've been fortunate to work with people around the world, work with people from a range of industries and profession. We work from high school students to entrepreneur, professionals, leaders, CEOs. And we really discovered a lot of things about human potential and really dive deeper into what it is to be able to fulfill your potential and to really live your life on purpose. And so I consider myself very fortunate to be able to make that transition and go really after my calling. But most importantly, I find like I was really grateful for me to be able to follow that calling. It's not because you have a calling that you can't follow it, but I took a risk and the risk has paid off. And since then, I never really looked back into going back into medical research. I just love what I do every day. And so every day I live and breathe human potential and personal transformation. And it's the same thing with Marcia. Both Marcia and I, we found our unique ways to be able to combine our scientific grounded approach. We're both doctors. Marcia is also a medical doctor. And so we find our unique way to combine our science background in life and health, well-being, and combine that with the power of the mind using neuroscience, my background in neuroscience, to develop something we call the science of personal leadership. Because we realize that no matter where our clients come from, no matter what industry, no matter what position they are, no matter what stage in their life they are, it's all about developing personal leadership. And that's what we've been doing for the past 10 years. The result of choosing that and changing my career into what I do right now is there were less stress, definitely. A lot more enthusiasm and energy. I got more productive and more focused and effective in what I do. A greater sense of contribution and fulfillment because I can directly affect people and make changes in their lives. Also focus on what I do best and I think I was born for. And I'm leaving my legacy right now. And so the reason why I share all this is because if we can do it, we had no background, no business in background before, but if we can do it and really follow what is our calling, so can you.